My book is about my life. It's about my family and me and our experience as immigrants to the United States from Cairo, from Egypt. We're Egyptian Jewish, and we have, I think, a fairly unique story. The title was the hardest thing to come up with. I wrote the whole book. I had easy titles for each of the chapters, but the title of the book was the hardest thing for me to decide on. I went through lots of possibilities. I made lists. I played with it. I wanted to get the idea of coming home, of the experience of finding home. And there's actually a book that has the title I wanted, called Always Coming Home by Ursula Le Guin. And that, if I could have had that title, I would have been very happy. But anyway, so I knew I wanted the word home in it. And then I realized the book had lots of dreams in it, and it's about dreaming and dreaming of home. So dream home, dream homes, that became the title. I had to bring the book to a conclusion, but it could just keep changing, right? The book changes with my life. But I spent 4 years writing it. I spent about 3 years revising it. And then Hurricane Katrina happened, and so that became the last chapter of the book. Okay. So from start to finish, it was 9 years. I did not write the book in sequence. I wrote the book in little sections. I thought of it as a kind of a patchwork. I wrote each section separately, and then I put it all together. It's really difficult to draw the line about telling personal stories. I feel a real commitment to telling the truth, and I also feel a real commitment to being kind and being loving to myself and to other people. So I told some painful stories about people in my family, some painful stories about my own experiences. And the first thing I did was to just write them. And then I thought about what I had written. And I thought, does this really need to be in the book? Is it important for it to be here? And when I decided it was important, I left it in, even if it was scary and risky and had the potential of hurting other people or me. My mother has read the book. My brother has read the book. My father died before it was completed. My mother, I gave it to her a few weeks ago, and I said, if you don't want to talk to me after you've read the book, I'll understand. And the next day she had read it, and she said, well, there were some things in it that I didn't need to know, but I loved it. And it's brought us much, much, much closer. I think the central theme of the book is that everything is transitory, and that we can lose everything in an instant, and we do lose everything in an instant, and that we have to find home in ourselves. That's really the theme of the book. I definitely want to continue to write. My mother said something to me recently. She said, you know, Joyce, it took you a long time to write this book, but now maybe you'll write a book every few years. And that's my ambition, is to be writing. I want to write fiction, and I also want to continue to write nonfiction. Not necessarily about myself, but nonfiction about the world.